Okay, now it's on to seating our bullet. So I'll make another video going over um, doing this fulling sizing without the ball and stuff, and speak a little bit more about this die. But I did talk about how I have the Redding die for fulling sizing, and then I use the Hornady die for seating. Now, when we seat this, I really like this one because it has this thing that comes down, and it's kind of free floating. But what it does is it holds the bullet perfectly straight so it can't wiggle. So when it goes down into the case mouth, it's perfectly straight. So it's nice and symmetrical and concentricity and all those fancy words. So this step is I like to lube the bullet. So we have the boat tail. We make the little ramp on the inside by chamfering it. We just use a little bit of bullet lube, and all I do is I get the boat tail and just that bottom little like quarter of the bullet from above the boat tail. So I'm only doing one case right now, but typically I'll have all 10 bullets in here. And usually I'll do this, spread on my fingers. I'll run through 5, just a little touch, spread it, run through 5 again, and that's all that you need. Now, when I'm seating my bullet, I like to seat it as far out as I can to maximum magazine length. So I'll measure the magazine, and then I'll load the bullet just a couple thousandths under that. That way, if there's any dirt, mud, water, anything, grass that gets in there, it should still feed reliably. One thing I did forget to mention is once we have all cases charged, what I do is I do a little peek down in there just to make sure I didn't miss anything and that it was done correctly. Because there's nothing worse than getting out to the range, especially if you don't have the right tools. The primer lodges the bullet into the barrel, and then you can't get it out. I have tools for that, but in case you don't. Anyway, so what I do is just the weight of this handle. I'm not going to put any pressure on it. I'm just going to have it just one finger until it touches that bullet. And so all I'm doing is making sure that that bullet is perfectly straight. I'm going to turn it about half a turn, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now this process normally goes a lot faster, but I'm trying to hold the camera. Once I do that, I'm going to turn it again, and I'm going to go just over the little hump from the boat tail. So I just want to push just enough to make it over that. Then I'm going to turn it again. I'm going to go just a little bit more. And turn it again. Just a little bit more. And now it went ahead and bottomed out on the bullet, so it's the bullet's seated all the way. But then I want to go ahead and hit it just one more time to make sure it's perfectly even. Turn it again. And then perfectly even again. And now I have these measured and everything. I have a lock ring set, so nothing on here changes. So I know that that is exactly perfect to where I need to be. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and measure the case. We're looking for the overall cartridge length. That's from the back to the very tip of the bullet. Again, if you're beginning, is your first time, I would go ahead and just stick with the SAAMI specs. That'll be in your reloading guide. But I like to load mine magazine length, so I load them as long as I can that still fit in the magazine, and that's where this one's loaded to. So we follow those steps. We go over all 10 of them, and then the next thing just takes real quick. I got the lube and stuff on my fingers, so I'll just take a towel and do a quick wipe down of all the bullets, and then you have a bullet that is perfectly made and tailored to your rifle. So I will go into a little bit more depth about sizing cases for precision with these other dies, and then we'll get into more detail about how to load data specifically, tuning a load specifically to your rifle. Now, that's a lot more in depth. You can go super in depth with this, or you can kind of take the not so in depth route. just all depends on what you want to do and how detailed you want to get. But what I'm going to do is just kind of show you how I do it. So there it is. This bad boy with my powder charge is right about 1,400 yards with this thing. So hopefully I can get some video of that pretty soon. Thank you guys for hanging in there. I know these videos are a little not very professional, but I'm just trying to walk you through. Hopefully I can get a little stand for my phone or something so I can get a little bit better, a little bit more professional with this. But thank you guys.